It was a very broad example. And the reason for that is because I was communicating the concepts of when it's best for business owners to use equity and when it's best for business owners to use equality. Now, these are big, broad subjects, and so just understanding the concept behind them and the reasons why some of them are used is what the whole purpose of the content was about. If you do want specific stuff on how each different event can have equity and equality involved in it, you can come work with me in the Inclusion Creators Collective, because that's what I get paid to do. Now, in terms of events and then switching over to payroll for business owners, yes, that is a very relevant thing to do and very useful to understand. Now, if we wanted to talk about events, we've already talked about the equitable part of organizing an event. So let's talk about an event then and how you would have equality in that particular event. So if everyone goes to this event and you are equitable, so you have some people paying at full price, you might have some people who are like on a partial scholarship, you might have some full scholarships, all those kinds of things happening to make sure you're being equitable to different marginalized communities. When they actually attend the event, this is when equality would be used. So for every person walking into the event, they would get one ticket into winning the door prize. Now, this is important to have because regardless of how much they have paid, they don't get more if they've paid more to come to that event. Every single person who walks through that door, regardless of how they accessed or came into being at that event, still only gets one ticket. And that is when equality is the fairest thing. Now, in terms of your comment when you said different events have different target markets, yes, absolutely. Different events have different target markets. And also every single business has a different target market. And also every business launch has a different target market. So there's just too many to go through for that. But one thing I will say about every single target market, every single niche, is it includes marginalized people. So if you aren't aware that there are marginalized people in your niches, in those target markets, if you are not acknowledging that and really looking at how do we be inclusive of those people, you do risk excluding them. You do risk causing harm. You do risk not having good representation of the community or your target market in that particular room. It's important to have awareness that there are marginalized people in those niches, in those target markets, because when you have that awareness, you also then have the choice of, am I going to actually acknowledge this? Am I going to make sure whatever I'm doing, whether it is an event or some other thing in your business, you have a choice of whether you are going to do it inclusively or exclusively. And if you do choose to be inclusive, that's where equity and equality come into the picture, and you can start asking the questions of where is the best place to do either of these things. It's about having the power of knowledge and awareness, having a choice, and making sure you are living your values through your business.